Hi guys, today I'm going to talk about the UI scroll view and also how to create an infinitely scrolling scroll view. So right now I have a blank canvas and I have a view controller with some properties. First, we're going to create a scroll view, and then second, we're going to add some content view, and then later I'm going to show you how you can transform it into an infinitely scrolling scroll view. So let me talk about the scroll view first. The scroll view that we are building is 300 points width, and then it's also 200 points height. And we're going to set it up in the middle of the screen. And I'm going to start creating it here in the view did load. So as soon as the view loads, then we're going to create the scroll view. So I'm going to use the scroll view property which I created earlier and create a UI scroll view. So UI scroll views allows you to scroll contents or its content views. So I'm going to set it up with 0 frame. So by the time the UI scroll view is instantiated, it will have 0 frame. And then I'm going to set a background color so that we can see it on the screen. That would be orange, and add it as a subview of the view. So the view of the view controller, and then call the add subview, and then scroll view. All right. So now we have the instance of the scroll view. All we need to do is lay it out on the screen. I already prepared this layout method, which just uses some auto layout and then set it up on the screen. So call the layout scroll view. And let's see if we set it up correctly. Okay, this video might be longer than usual, so you just, if you have time, just stick around until the end of the video. But anyway, so here we go. We already have our orange scroll view, so we can see it and it's properly set up on our screen. What I would want to do next is add a content. And I already have the content view. So this is the view that's going to be in our scroll view, and then it's going to be scrollable. So content view. So it's just a plain UI view. And then we're going to set its rect. It's going to be positioned at the top left. So 0 and then 0. The width is going to be the same width as our scroll view. So we already have the scroll width property, which is 300 points. And then the height is 600, and we have our constant content height. And for us to be able to see it, I'm going to set the background color to blue. And of course, add it as a subview of the scroll view. So scroll view being the parent view, add our subview, which is the content view. And if I'm going to run it now, I wouldn't be able to scroll the content view. The reason I wouldn't be able to scroll it because, of course, the scroll view doesn't know the content size. The scroll view needs to have that content size or the size of the content so that it knows how much space or how much offset it has to scroll the content. If the height or width is the same, then we wouldn't be able to scroll the content. There's no room for it to scroll. So here, either here or here, I'm going to set the content size. So scroll view that content size. And we know that the size of our content view is 300 by 600, and we're just going to create a CG size and then set the width to scroll width, and then the height is the content height of 600. By default, scroll views, when you scroll it, you would see a scroll bar or scroll indicator. So if I scroll, then we can see the scroll indicator. And then at the bottom is the maximum offset, is the maximum position that the content could move to. All right, and you can see the orange background, which is the scroll view. Okay, so now we just set up our scroll view and then content. And I just want to print out the position of our content view. And that position is called the offset. We can do that by subscribing or by creating a delegate object and then listening to the events and information coming from the scroll view. So we will create a delegate object, and then that object is the view controller. So I'm going to use the self keyword. Self refers to the instance of this class. Okay, and then we need to implement the UIScrollView delegate. I'm going to click the fix, but I am going to implement that on a separate section. Since we're going to create an extension, this is just to make it, separate the code so that it looks cleaner. And I'm interested in using one of the methods, which is the viewDidScroll. If I explore further, I have a lot of options here, a lot of methods I could use. ScrollViewDidZoom, because scroll views can zoom. Begin dragging, will end dragging, and so on. But I'm going to use the ScrollViewDidScroll. Okay, here I'm just going to type it, ScrollViewDidScroll. So whenever the content is scrolling, this method is going to be called, and then it will return the instance of that scroll view. Okay, so I'm just going to print it now, and I'm not going to use it yet. So we're going to get the content offset, or the amount of offset it moved, either direction, vertically or horizontally. So we already set our delegate, which is the view controller, and then once this is called, we're going to print the content offset. Okay, now I'm going to scroll, and we can see that the content offset is being printed, and we have a constant X position because the width of the content and the scroll view is just the same, so it doesn't have any room to move horizontally or in the X direction. If I scroll all the way down, we can see that the maximum offset is 400. So you can derive the maximum offset by subtracting the height, in this case since we're scrolling vertically, so the height of the scroll view and then the height of the content. And I'm just going to create that here. Max offset equals the content height, which we can also get from the content size. So scroll view that content size. So it's the size of the content view, right? So size, which is the height, and then less than the offset. Less than the height of the scroll view. Scroll view that frame that size that height. Okay, and I'm going to print that. Print the max offset. So we have the scroll view minus the frame size height. I think that's correct. And when I scroll, okay, so we scroll all the way down, so it's 400 and 400, and I think that we did it right. All right, again, the maximum offset is the difference between the height of the content and the height of the scroll view. So that's how you get the maximum offset. And I'm just going to remove that. Okay, the next thing that I would want to do is I want to mirror this content view with another view, so we can view, or we can see the entire view moving vertically. I already created the mirror view property here, so it's a UI view. All we just need to do is create it here, and then it's a UI view. The frame, it's going to be the same as the content view. So the height and the width is going to be the same, but the position is going to be different. We're going to align it vertically, or it's vertically aligned with the scroll view. So 0 and then 0, top left, and the width is going to be 50, while the height is the content height. All right. Well, I said the same dimension as the content view, but it's just the height, but not the width, because it's going to cover the overlap with the other view. Okay, and then we're going to set the background color to yellow so we can see it on the screen, and add it as a subview of the view. So the view is the parent view, and then add subview of the mirror view. So what we intend to do is, as the content view is being scrolled vertically, we want the mirror view to also move along with that content view. So whenever I scroll, I want it to scroll the content view. Okay, since we already have the content offset, so we can get the position or the current offset of our content view and then synchronize it with the position of the mirror view. First, we need to get the original position of our mirror view. Before I do that, I just need to make a minor correction. So the mirror view's position should be aligned with the scroll view. So scroll view dot, I'm going to get the frame, then origin, and then the Y position. Okay, and let me check if I did it right. Okay. Alright, so now that I fixed that, I am going to get the frame, create a frame variable. I'm not creating a constant because later I'm going to change or update this frame. And so I'm going to use the mirror views frame. So we're just basically copying it, and then get the Y property, since we're going to set a new value when the view or scroll view is moving. Okay, so currently the position of the scroll view is from here to here, so the Y position. So we're going to get that position and subtract the offset, the amount of points the content view is moving. So I'm going to get the scroll view frame first, frame, origin, and then Y, and subtract the content offset. So scroll view dot content offset dot Y. All right. So the amount of offset will be used to reduce the vertical position of this mirror view. And I think we've set up that correctly, and then I'm going to apply it back to the mirror view frame, and then frame. So what I'm expecting to happen is that when I scroll the blue content, it should also scroll the mirror view. So there we go. So now you can see that, you know, the content view, the whole content view, as opposed to the partially visible content view, we can see what's happening if it was outside of the scroll view. So the point the position from this point up to here is 400 points. So if I scroll all the way to the top, it's 400 points. Again, it's the difference between this height and the content views height. And this information, we can use it for implementing our infinitely scrolling scroll view. Okay, so currently our content view is too plain, and we would want to see that the content is moving vertically. So what I would want to do next is add some more content. Now I'm going to add 3 more rows or 3 more views in our content view. So we can see that the content view is scrolling. It will look like as if we're using a table view. Okay, so I'm just going to paste the 3 views that I already created, and I'm going to add it as the subview of the content view. So add subview, and then the red view, content view, add the green view, and content view, add blue. So I'm adding 3 more views, and they're positioned 200 points apart. Each of these views, they are 200 points height, and then they're colored red, green, and blue. So when we scroll, we can see the first row, second row, and then the third row. It will also be useful when we're doing our infinite scroll later to see that the colors are changing, because it's easier, or it's difficult to see it when we have a plain blue color. So now we were able to create or add 3 more views in our scroll view. So red is the first row, and then green second row, and blue is the third row. So at this stage, we already have the scroll view, we already have the rows, and we have colored rows. What I would want to do next is already implement the infinite scrolling technique or trick. So it's actually very easy. We already have the ingredients or the information that we need to do that. I'm just going to reset the offset. If you scroll from the top, so the offset is 0, and then the bottom would be 400, right? Which is our maximum content offset. So what will happen is when I reach, or the scroll would reach at the bottom, 400, then we reset it to 0. And then again, you scroll 400, and it will reset. Okay, so since I know what the maximum offset is, which is 400 in our example, I'm just going to check if it's already 400. So scroll view, I'm going to check the content offset in the Y position if it's greater than the maximum offset. And then I am going to reset it, right? I'm going to reset the content offset. So the content offset is going to be a CG point. It's a new offset that we are creating. So the X would be the same offset as the scroll view. Scroll view dot content offset dot X, and since we're resetting it to the initial position 0, then I'm setting it with 0. So whenever the content offset is greater than the maximum offset, which is the difference between the height and then the content height of the scroll view, then we reset the position of our content view. Not the scroll view, but the content view. And then if I run this again, and we will see that the content view is resetting to its initial position. Alright, so we're at the first row, moving to the second row, and then the last row, we're at 396. if I hit the 400, then it reset to the initial position. So if I keep scrolling, you can see the content view, it resets. That's the other reason why I have a mirror view, so that you could see what's happening. All right, but if there's something wrong here, it's not totally, convincing that it's an infinitely scroll view, because if I reach 400, it replaces the blue row, which is not good. But there is something that we could do with it, and this is a trick that you can do for rows that are the same height as the scroll view. If the row is, shorter than the height of the scroll view, then it might not work. But in this case, in our example, we just need to add another row that's pretending to be the first row. All right, so I'm going to copy the red one here and call it probably red fill. It's just to fill the first row, and then it's going to be red, and our last offset is, or position is 400 for this blue view. Then the next one should be 600. So the Y position should be 600, 600. And then we are going to add it as the subview of the content view. Red fill. Alright, so now we already have 4 rows, and we also need to make some adjustments. Our maximum content height is going to be 800, since we added another 200 height view. That gives us a total of 800, and I don't think I need to make another adjustment somewhere because the max offset is automatic, so I think we could test this. Let's try this. Alright, we're at the, oops, there you go. We have the red. It's not going to reset yet after red. I mean, it's going to reset after red, and then once we hit 600, it's going to reset, but the color didn't change. So from the viewer standpoint, he would not notice that we reset the content view. If I keep scrolling, I can scroll forever, and it would be infinite. But the giveaway is the, it's going to tell the user, oh, it's resetting because of the scroll bar or scroll indicator. What I can do with it is I'm going to hide it by calling the show vertical, shows vertical scroll indicator, and set it to false. Okay, this same process, you can use it with collection views and UI table views, because table views and collection views are based on UI scroll views. All right, let's try it again. And now we don't have the scroll indicator, so it doesn't, the user wouldn't have an idea that we're just resetting the position of the content view. And they would have the impression that we did a great job in of creating an infinitely scrolling scroll view. All right, so that's how you create an infinitely scrolling scroll view. It's very simple, and it just gets complicated when you have a lot of things that you want to customize in terms of your content view. But I hope with this simple example, you have an idea of how it works, and then you can use it in creating your own version of an infinitely scrolling scroll view, collection view, or table view. So if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and click the bell icon so that you'll be reminded that I have uploaded a new video on this channel. And also, if you created something out of this and you wanted to share, please share it in the comment section. So till the next video, guys, thank you for watching.